Hey, it's Gene Marks here. What I'm doing is I'm doing a commentary for the Code Geass review. We released this back in March of 2010. It was originally supposed to be out in January 2010 to be filler between when we went audio to video, but for some odd reason it took us 3 months to edit and just throw out there, but here it is. I just thought I'd throw some commentary because it really sort of defined how we do things and were doing things for Shaft at the time. This really became sort of the impromptu format for how we want to do reviews. In fact, we're even going back to this style of doing reviews in the near future with how we want to do Shaft reviews. As for reviewing Geass in video form, it was sort of something for our listeners where we would talk about Code Geass at length, but never actually go ahead and review it because we never wanted to sit through more than 5 minutes of the dub. Chris got through one episode and wanted to shut it off. I got through two and didn't want to go back. And I've heard bits and pieces from R2, and it's a messy dub. And it was really tough to kind of come up with a way to explain it. But this is how I rate dubs. And for people who crap on me for rating dubs, forget you. If you don't like it, too bad. Sadly, this is the R1 market, and one of the things people want to know is how good a dub is, and that's just how it goes, unfortunately. So I rate dubs. But one of the things I had to do was, okay, how can I say this is total crap without just blaming Bosch like we always do? We came up with a system. If a series has a universally bad dub, we just go ahead and blame the ADR director because he's setting the tone for these actors throughout. So basically, if you have a dub that is consistently bad ADR director. If you have a series that's consistently good ADR director. And then we decided that we'll point out specific voice actors based on how much they break from the status quo. In most series that contain Johnny Young Bosch, like, I'll bring up Haruhi. Why not? He kind of comes out of the status quo because he's like this, and I'm an Esper, and I have no emotion, and I'm completely undecided. Or you have Full Metal Alchemist, where Vic Mignogna just breaks out into just an epic speech, just out of the blue, and it sounds like the most emotional thing ever, and makes for good convention talk. So that's our methodology behind rating dubs. And again, we don't hate subtitles. In fact, with Geass, I prefer you would watch it in subtitles because the Japanese acting is just beautiful in Code Geass. But I still think there's something to English dub over voice acting. It's either you're either gonna hate or love it, and it's something I can't give a blanket statement to. I can't say, oh, it's in English, therefore it is bad. No, I rate things on a series by series basis. Otherwise, I'd miss out on great dubs like Cowboy Bebop and FMA 1 and Brotherhood. It would just come off as dumb. Now, let's talk about the actual production. We're in Chris's house. We didn't have the set up yet. We didn't have the basement set. And again, we went with the basement set because we kind of wanted to go with the basement nerd motif, kind of the bedroom programmer or the garage programmer type of thing. But we want to take that approach to film, and doing that type of show there, I thought, was kind of a unique way of looking at it, though it ended up being more of a liability down the road. We had a lot of my neighbors are not nice about being quiet, despite how often I complain about it. So yeah, they caused a lot of noise, and it came up on the camera. So we moved back to Chris's, and we were able to set up space for a green screen set. And since then, we've only continued to expand that set to include numerous bits of equipment, better film style, better looking set, looks more professional, and I think we've only just continued to expand on how great it is. Even though we don't do the traditional everything episodes now, we're kind of embracing the network motif and just having shorter shows that are specific, that are focused, like news chunks. We're redoing Shaft reviews, stuff like Thomas's Prerogative, stuff like Thomas's Top 5. So, and again, this is kind of filler so that we can get back to doing those videos on that set. So that's the other thing. Here, I look like an idiot. I got the long hair and everything. I look so stupid. Uh, that's the other thing. The other thing in the production of this is I was very insistent that we had to be using a lot of clips. And right here, you can tell we kind of used the YouTube clips because none of us owned Geass at the time, so we had to fair use ourselves some clips, and YouTube was the way to go. And we only wanted to watch 5 episodes anyway, or at least I only wanted to watch 5 episodes. There was no way anyone else on the staff was going to other than me. So that's why I wrote the review, watched the series, and actually performed the review, because it was just bad. It's one of those rare times where I have to love a series and hate a series at the same time. Evangelion's like that for me. There's so much bullcrap in Evangelion, the original series, not the rebuild. But it's just hard for me to turn around and go, yes, let me rate a series I like on several levels and then trash on it. It's very difficult. And if anyone listened to the full series review for Eva, you could tell that was hard for me, because there's some horrible voice acting. There's some really horrible other stuff going on. The characters aren't endearing enough for me. And again, it's stuff where the English adaptation and the original both collide in horribleness and then collide to create something unbelievable. Code Geass is like that for me. Probably to the biggest extreme of that, where I'm exceedingly harsh and then exceedingly praising. And this is the best part. And here's the thing: we blatantly ripped off stuff like the Nostalgia Critic in order to do that, to do something like this. But I just had to specifically compare the Japanese and English voiceover. It was just had to be done. There are just so many horrible things. Like Lelouch just sounds like an aloof kid who just doesn't care. He's like, "Oh, you will serve me." The Japanese version sounds almost like I am like untouchable rather than I'm bored. Though with this guy, it was both yelling, but I still consider the Japanese better. That was kind of a joke in there. Again, what killed me about this, and I say it in the review, is what were they thinking with some of these decisions? I have no idea. But to get back to kind of the future, I guess, because this is the future. We are going back to the style of one person on the screen. One thing we didn't do with this is lots of clips. It's a lot of me, and I really apologize for that. We were really experimenting with clips. We were really experimenting with throwing in extra text at the time. Again, this was recorded almost 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago at this point. But we've really gotten a chance to learn. We have better sets, and that's something to look forward to. But I think this basic setup we had was great. One person on the screen. It keeps things very focused. You probably also notice the dog having run through in a couple of scenes. There was no way we could even think of finding a way to confine the dog. So yeah, that's a lot of the Bush League type of stuff we left in, and it's kind of a proof of we had the right idea, but boy, we had no production stuff. Oh, that line was bad. Oh, and again, I do take complaint when something sounds out of character or out of place. It just sounds really, I hate when that happens. But getting back to this, yeah, what we're doing with Chef Reviews is one guy, whether it's on the green screen, whether we set up a set to sit in, either in one of our offices. I think that's a great thing. Us in front of Chris's DVD rack, which is massive. I myself am getting one myself to put all my DVDs in. Right now they're all in storage. But because I have digital copy for everything, it's not a big problem. I can still watch stuff. But I think this is the approach we want to take, where we do these serious business reviews. And to be honest, those reviews are quite receptive, especially in Crunchyroll and on the main site. Uh, the Summer Wars review, the Witchblade review, all the new Shaft reviews. The biggest complaints we've gotten is there's two people, there's not enough clips, and they're too long. And that's something we're fixing. But otherwise, they're going to be like this. And I think this was the format we should have been doing in the first place. And we never made it work. So it's kind of why I wanted to do this. And by the way, this was kind of fun too. This was our attempt at doing skit stuff. We never went back and did stuff like that again. And I was so disappointed. We're going to be doing that again. And we have the proto credits established with the, and I got to thank Pete Clement for the song. It's such a cool song. Yeah, the AD network doesn't exist anymore. Oh yeah, this also starts our ability to put bloopers into the end of shows. And there's the dog. There's the dog again. There's Cosmo. That's Chris's dog. But honestly, this is the kind of thing that really annoyed me. This is the great thing. We put in our bloopers, but we're saving them for conventions more or less now. But again, it's just proof of how little we had to work with a year ago and how much better off we are. You can see Chris's mom completely in this shot. And I hate it because I got the take. The take was so perfect. And I'm like, why do I have to reshoot this? And Chris is like, my mom's in the shot. I'm like, dang it. And then the last one is me. I don't normally yell swears or anything, but we were at the end of the review. It was horrible. Oh, well.